Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday from the Toy Box Edition. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker. Let's get into it! Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories, and here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at the smaller bits. I don't think we need it for this piece though. Here we have the blue lightsaber blade made out of a translucent blue material, just like they always do. And you know, it's the right length, right width, all that good stuff. Here's the peg. Being an older figure, it's kind of the older style peg. So, a little thin. I don't really care for those, but they're a little thicker than some of the earlier ones. Then next up, we will use the tweezers. Here is his lightsaber hilt. And it's got some nice black and gold, or maybe it's bronze, paint apps on it. Maybe a little red right there for that button. It's got a post right there for storage. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty accurate. And then how it stores, there's a port right there on Dolores and Annie's belt, and it just posts right in there. And then as far as the lightsaber goes, of course it's got a port in the handle and the post we talked about earlier. And just get it in there, and it only kind of goes one way. It's got a little shape on it so that it's supposed to just go that way, but it doesn't act like it wants to even go in there all the way. So there is that. So there we have the completed lightsaber ignited. Well, let's take a look at the figure. And I know we've gotten this guy a couple of times now, but this is the original Target exclusive version of the character. And I have to say, throughout, nice molded details. You know, we've got some textural details here, and then nice, you know, crispness for the armor. Nice tampo right here, paint app here and here. Nothing really much going on the back. I was starting to say there might be a little washing in the hair, but that's the lights casting shadows, so there is not. And I have to say, it's not the most accurate likeness to Hayden Christensen, and that might be more of the deco than the sculpt, or it might just be the hair looks kind of weird. But it's definitely much better than the original release of Episode 3 Anakin Skywalker and the subsequent archive release of the same character. It's got a little paint app here for the scar, for the eyebrows and the eyes. And this actually might be the inkjet printing on the face. So, but the eyes are nice and crisp. Looks like they're facing the correct direction. A little bit of color there on the lips. And that's pretty much it for the paint amps. Well, we've got some right here on the glove. And that's it. A little bit of soft goods under the plastic or rubber robe pieces. So that always helps with articulation most of the time. And speaking of articulation, let's take a look at his. The head looks to be like it's on a dumbbell at the top, ball joint at the bottom, with the neck being a separate piece. He can look up that high. He can look down that low. He's got, well, he doesn't really have any chicken neck. He's got some waggle. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, 360 degrees worth of rotation. And I don't know if you can see the little strap or whatever, but this is one of the first instances I can remember of the shoulder armor being a strap and the arm being poked through it so that it rotates with the arm. So that's good. He can raise his arm up at the shoulder approximately 90 degrees, nothing in the bicep. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees, and it gives you slightly better than 90 degrees of bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge, and the other side is in and out hinge as well. Nothing in the torso where the, well, at the waist there's a ball joint, and it gives him hula. I was gonna say hulu, but no, it gives him hula. It gives him 360 degrees of rotation. He can lean slightly to the left and right, slightly back, and slightly forward. At the hips, gives you about that much unless you slide his little skirt piece up. And nope, I take it back. You slide it up and you still get that much. That's actually how far that the mold will allow. And he kicks forward that far, a bit shy of 90 degrees, and back about 2 of his own steps. Is there a cut at the thigh? No, there's not. Double hinged pinned knee, and it gives you that much bend, so it's not horrible. I want to make sure. There is. Oh, he does have a rotation there. I thought he did. So at the upper thigh, there is a rotation. It's just really, really tight, at least on mine. At the ankle, tilts down that far, up slightly, and he does have forward-facing pin for rocker. And again, we already showed weapon storage. Other than that, he has to hold it in his hands, my friends. And that does it for a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker, with the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars The Black Series, Attack of the Clones, Count Dooku, and Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Asajj Ventress. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker, I have to say this is probably the best looking Anakin thus far in my collection. I was not able to get my hands on the SDCC Final Duel pack from episode 3, and shame on you, Hasbro, for not opening pre-orders back up on it like you did with Cold Slither. But I guess it is what it is. And probably eventually those figures will get re-released as single releases with none of the accessories, which is kind of crappy. But again, that's the price of doing business with Hasbro, I suppose. But as far as this one goes, this is my premier Anakin in my collection. Because, number one, I love the Clone Wars show. And I think this is a really good representation of the character. While the likeness isn't 100%, it's, you know, it's in there. You know this is Anakin Skywalker. It's not real far off. It's much better than the original release of the Episode 3 Anakin. That is just not great in any sense of the terms. The Archive Edition one was a little better, but it was just a, you know, repaint with better deco of that original sculpt, and the sculpt is really where that one was lacking. And I do like the fact that in the Black series, when they take characters from animated shows, they give them that more realistic spin so that they fit in with the rest of your collection. Just like they did with the characters from Rebels and the characters from the Clone Wars thus far. So I appreciate that you know, they did that so that all the line runs smoothly together, unlike what they did in the 3 3/4 line, which is the Clone Wars stuff from the show. Look, you know, it was in that art style, so it really did not fit with the rest of your stuff. But of course, you know, Vintage Collection, and you go back and look at Power of the Force 2, those really don't fit together either, stylistically. So, you know, but so I do appreciate the fact that they match up with the rest of the line, and that's really good, because I would have been understandably upset if they decided to do it the other way and then stuff just didn't mesh together. But, you know, this is a good figure. I'm glad I was able to get my hands on it. Anakin and Obi-Wan were the main goal of this Target wave, and I did manage to get Hawk as well. I missed out on ARC Trooper Echo, and it sucks, but it is what it is, and I'm not willing to pay the inflated secondary market prices for it. At least they were super inflated last time I looked, and I just kind of gave up on it, and that's okay, because it's not a must-have for my collection, because I have the must-have Echo, and that's the Bad Batch version. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.